I knew that I was always loved by my parents, and I guess that fortified me. But I think when I went to school, that it really became real that there was a difference in black and white. When white school finished with books, we got them. When they finished with the projectors, we got them. When they finished with the buses, we got them. And it became very evident very early that there was a difference between what white people got and what black people got. My high school was segregated. As a matter of fact, all the way through elementary school, through high school, and up until I went to college, primarily, there were a few whites in my school, but primarily we went to black schools in North Carolina. Now, in my hometown of New Bern, North Carolina, which was a small town in eastern North Carolina, the NAACP had just begun demonstrating, so I was aware of protest at that time. When I went to Fayetteville State Teachers College, it was about the same time in Greensboro, North Carolina, when Reverend Jesse Jackson and the students there sat in at the lunch counter. We were inspired by that in Fayetteville, and we started the same thing in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We would leave the campus, we would march down Murchison Road and down to Hay Street, which is the downtown area. And we would go into the stores, we would sit at the counter, and we would ask for a burger, French fries, and a Coke. They would ask us to leave, to please leave, and we were very recalcitrant. We did not get up, we did not leave, we just sat there. And after we made our point, we left, and we would come back the same day and repeat the same thing. We would get the same answer. And then they got smart. When they heard that we were coming downtown, they would lock the doors of the department stores and lock the doors of the restaurants. For us, it was a victory because as long as the stores were closed, they weren't making any money. So we made a point, but we also, in a very subtle way, got a victory. I think I've always been socially active in areas of social justice. It's been a part of who I am and what I do. When I got out of school, I got a job, again, in a dual school system. They had just begun to segregate the schools in North Carolina, so I was working on a black school. They had a white system. And during the time of desegregation, I was fortunate enough as a school principal to get a job in a white community. I was still very active in the civil rights movement. The superintendent wasn't appreciative of that, and so members of the school board put pressure on him to try to get me not to become involved. And a lot of mean things were done, and he constantly tried to get me fired, but he never could fire me. And one of the things that really happened when I left to come to Philadelphia in 1974, the superintendent got sick. He was dying of terminal cancer. So I went to see him, and when I went back to North Carolina, had prayer with him, and with tears in his eyes, he apologized for what he had sought to do to me. I think collectively, when I look at my life and look at the people that God has placed in my life and the experiences that I've had, both good and bad, and I don't see necessarily the adverse things that happen to you as bad things. I think it's how you process them, how you look at them, how you view them, and how you use them. And I think as I look at my life, the totality of my life, that I've chosen to use the good things and the bad things in a positive way to make me a better person.